Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. How did one smile and a casual comment from our neighbor, "I missed you," evolve into divorce papers served at my daughter's school pickup in front of 30 parents? I thought I was being friendly, that my husband was overreacting to innocent neighborly interactions, but what began as borrowed sugar and friendly waves escalated into an affair I convinced myself was justified. When the process server handed me legal documents in the school parking lot, while I stood next to the neighbor I'd been secretly seeing for 8 months, I realized my husband had been quietly documenting every lie, every dismissal of his concerns, every time I gaslit him into thinking he was paranoid. Saturday morning was bright and warm. I walked to the mailbox in yoga pants and an old t-shirt. I had just finished my coffee, and Harper was inside watching cartoons. The street was quiet except for the sound of a lawnmower 3 houses down. Dylan jogged past. He wore black running shorts and a grey tank top. He waved. I waved back. Then he stopped. He jogged backward a few steps and smiled. He said he missed seeing me this week. I felt my face get warm. I said I had been busy with work. He said he hoped I would have more free time soon. His hand touched my arm for just a second. Then he jogged away. I stood by the mailbox holding bills and grocery store flyers. I felt something I had not felt in a long time. I felt seen. I felt interesting. I felt like someone other than Harper's mother or Owen's wife. I did not see Owen in the garage. He was organizing his tools, and he had a perfect view of the driveway. He saw everything. He saw Dylan stop. He saw Dylan touch my arm. He saw me smile. I went inside and put the mail on the counter. Owen walked in from the garage a moment later. He asked what that was about. I asked what he meant. He said Dylan stopping to talk to me. I said Dylan was just being friendly. Owen said it did not look friendly. I laughed. I said he was being paranoid. Owen did not laugh. He asked how long I had been talking to Dylan. I said we chatted occasionally when we saw each other outside. He asked if Dylan came to the house. I hesitated. Then I said sometimes he stopped by to borrow things. Owen's jaw tightened. He asked what he borrowed. I said tools, sugar, normal neighbor things. Owen asked if I invited him in. I said sometimes for coffee. Owen asked if this happened when he was at work. I said yes. Owen said he was uncomfortable with that. I asked why. He said because Dylan was another man, and I was alone with him in our house. I said that was ridiculous. I said Dylan was just a friend and a neighbor. Owen said friends do not look at each other the way Dylan looked at me. I said he was imagining things. He said he saw what he saw. I told him he was being controlling and insecure. He said he was being observant. I said he was threatened by younger men. Dylan was 29. Owen was 35. I knew my comment would sting. Harper walked into the kitchen holding her stuffed rabbit. She asked if we were fighting. I said no. I said Daddy was just having a bad day. She looked at Owen. She asked if he was sad. Owen knelt down and hugged her. He said he was fine. He carried her upstairs to get dressed. I stood in the kitchen alone. I felt annoyed. I felt like Owen was overreacting. I felt like he was trying to control who I talked to. I did not think about the fact that his instincts were correct. I did not think about the fact that Dylan's touch had felt more than friendly. I just thought about how Owen was ruining a perfectly nice Saturday. That evening, Owen made dinner. He was quiet. Harper talked about her day. I scrolled through my phone. After Harper went to bed, Owen sat across from me at the table. He said we needed to talk. He asked how often Dylan came to the house. I said I did not keep track. He asked if Dylan came over this week. I said maybe once or twice. He asked what we talked about. I said nothing important. He asked if I thought it was appropriate. I asked if what was appropriate. He said having another man in our home when I was alone. I told him he was being ridiculous. He said he was being reasonable. I said reasonable would be trusting his wife. He said trust required honesty. I asked if he thought I was lying. He did not answer right away. Then he said he thought I was minimizing. I stood up and said I was not doing this. I said I was allowed to have friends. He said friends did not make your husband uncomfortable. I said that was his problem, not mine. I went upstairs. Later that night, I lay in bed scrolling through social media. Owen was in the bathroom. His phone was charging on the nightstand. The screen lit up. I saw a notification. It was a calendar reminder. It said, 3rd Street, 6:30 p.m. Monday. I wondered what that was. I had never heard Owen mention anything on 3rd Street. Owen came out of the bathroom. He picked up his phone and dismissed the notification. I asked what the Monday appointment was. He said it was a work meeting. I said it was marked personal. He said he had errands to run. I asked what kind of errands. He said it did not matter. I asked if he was hiding something. He said no. I said it seemed like he was. He said I should worry about my own behavior. I asked what that meant. He did not answer. He turned off his light and lay down with his back to me. I stared at the ceiling. I felt angry. I felt like Owen was being unfair. I felt like I had done nothing wrong. I did not know yet how wrong I was. Monday I went to the office. I worked part-time as a real estate agent. Most days I worked from home, but Mondays I went in for team meetings. Tessa worked in the same office. She sold more houses than anyone else. She was confident and put together. I always felt a little inadequate around her. We had lunch in the break room. She asked how my weekend was. I said it was fine. She said I did not sound fine. I said Owen had been acting strange. She asked what kind of strange. I said jealous and controlling. I told her about Dylan. I told her about Saturday morning. I said Owen got upset because Dylan stopped to talk to me. Tessa asked what Dylan said. I said he missed seeing me. Tessa said that sounded innocent. I said exactly. But Owen acted like it was a huge deal. I said Owen did not like me having male friends. Tessa said that sounded insecure. I agreed. I said I was starting to feel suffocated. Tessa said she understood. She said her ex-husband had been the same way. I felt validated. I felt like someone finally understood. I did not tell Tessa that Dylan had been coming to the house regularly. I did not tell her that we had been having coffee together several times a week. I did not tell her that I looked forward to his visits more than I should. I just told her the parts that made Owen look bad. Saturday, I took Harper to the park. It was a beautiful afternoon. The playground was crowded with kids. Harper ran to the swings. I sat on a bench and watched her. Dylan appeared a few minutes later. He was jogging on the path that circled the playground. When he saw me, he stopped. He walked over and sat next to me. He said he was hoping to run into me. I asked why. He said he enjoyed talking to me. We sat and talked while Harper played. He asked about my week. I told him about work. He told me about his training clients. He said he was thinking about expanding his business. I said he should. He said he would need to find the right space. I said I could help him look. He said he would like that. His leg pressed against mine. I did not move away. We sat like that for a while. Then Harper ran over and asked if she could have a snack. I reached into my bag. That was when I saw Linda. Linda lived 4 houses down from us. She was walking her dog on the path. She saw me. She saw Dylan. She saw how close we were sitting. Her expression changed. She took out her phone. She took a photo. Then she kept walking. My stomach dropped. I stood up. Dylan asked if I was okay. I said I had to go. He looked confused. I gathered Harper and walked quickly to the car. I drove home with my hands shaking. Owen was in the kitchen when I got home. He was working on his laptop. Harper ran upstairs to play. I put my bag down and tried to act normal. Owen looked up. He asked how the park was. I said it was fine. He nodded and went back to his screen. I walked behind him to get a glass of water. I glanced at his laptop. He had a spreadsheet open. The columns were labeled date and observation. I saw my name. I saw Dylan's name. I saw today's date. Owen minimized the screen quickly. I asked what he was working on. He said finances. I said it did not look like finances. He said I would not understand the format. I said I was not stupid. He said he never said I was. But his tone was cold. His tone said he did not believe me anymore. I went upstairs. I felt a twist of fear. I wondered what Owen was doing. I wondered how much he knew. I told myself I was overreacting. I told myself there was nothing to know. Dylan and I were just friends. That was all. But I knew I was lying to myself. I knew it was more than that. I just did not want to admit it yet. Wednesday afternoon, Dylan texted me. He asked if I wanted to meet for coffee. I hesitated. Then I said yes. We met at a cafe on the Riverside embankment. It was far enough from home that I did not think anyone would see us. We sat at an outdoor table. The sun was warm. The water was calm. It felt like a date. I tried not to think about what that meant. Dylan asked if everything was okay. I said yes. He said I seemed distracted on Saturday. I said I just had a lot on my mind. He asked if it was about Owen. I said partly. He asked if Owen knew about us. I said there was no us. He smiled. He said it felt like there was. He reached across the table and touched my hand. I did not pull away. We sat like that for a long time. I felt guilty. I felt excited. I felt like I was doing something wrong, and I did not care. What I did not know was that Marcus was biking on the path nearby. Marcus was Owen's best friend. They had known each other since college. Marcus saw us. He stopped his bike. He watched us for a moment. Then he took out his phone. He took a photo. He sent it to Owen with a message. We need to talk. Owen called Marcus that night. Marcus told him what he saw. Owen asked him to send the photo. Marcus did. Owen thanked him and said he was handling it. Marcus asked if Owen was okay. Owen said he would be. Friday night, Tessa invited me to drinks. It was a group from work and some friends from her yoga class. She said it would be fun. She said I should come. I agreed. I asked if I could bring someone. Tessa said sure. She assumed I meant Owen. I did not correct her. I brought Dylan. We met at a rooftop bar downtown. There were about 10 people. When Dylan and I walked in together, everyone looked surprised. Tessa pulled me aside. She asked if I was sure this was appropriate. I said Dylan was a friend. She said it did not look that way. I said Owen knew about him. Tessa looked uncomfortable, but she did not push. We had drinks. Dylan was charming. He told jokes. People laughed. I felt proud to be with him. I felt like people saw me differently. I felt young and interesting and alive. Someone suggested taking a group photo. We all gathered near the railing. Dylan put his arm around my shoulder. I leaned into him. Someone took the photo. It was posted to Instagram immediately. Everyone was tagged, including me. I did not think about who might see it. I did not think about Owen's mother, Judith, who followed me on social media. I did not think about what the photo would look like to anyone who did not know the context. I just smiled and felt happy. By the time I got home that night, Judith had already seen the photo. She had already called Owen. Owen had already confirmed what she suspected. The evidence was piling up, and I had no idea. I walked into the house. Owen was in the dining room. His laptop was open on the table. I saw a folder icon on the desktop. It was labeled Evidence. Then he closed the screen. The smell of printer ink hung in the air. I asked if he printed something. He said work documents. I said I smelled ink. He said he printed a report. I asked to see it. He said it was confidential. I demanded to know what he was doing. He looked at me. He said he was protecting himself. I felt cold. I asked protecting himself from what? He said from whatever came next. I asked what came next. He said that depended on me. I did not know what to say. I went upstairs and left him there. That night I could not sleep. I lay in bed thinking about the spreadsheet, thinking about the folder labeled evidence, thinking about Owen's face when he said he was protecting himself. I thought about Dylan's arm around me in the photo. I thought about Marcus seeing us at the cafe. I thought about Linda seeing us at the park. I thought about how many people were watching, how many people were talking. I thought about how I should stop seeing Dylan. I thought about how I should tell Owen the truth. I thought about how I should fix this before it was too late. But I did not do any of those things. I just lay in the dark and hoped it would all blow over. That was my biggest mistake. Sunday was Judith's birthday. She wanted both families to have lunch together. Owen said we had to go. I did not want to, but I agreed. The restaurant had a private dining room. When we arrived, everyone was already there. Judith and Owen's father, Owen's sister, my father Robert, my sister Imogen, 14 people total. The tension was immediate. I could feel everyone watching me. Harper sat between Owen and me. She sensed something was wrong. She was quieter than usual. We ordered food. Small talk was strained. Then Judith cleared her throat. She said she needed to address something. She looked at me. She asked if I had something to tell Owen. I asked what she meant. She pulled out her phone. She showed me the screen. It was the photo from Friday night. Dylan's arm around my shoulder, me leaning into him, my smile too bright. Judith said she saw this online. She asked who Dylan was. I said he was a friend. She said he did not look like just a friend. I said appearances could be deceiving. She said Marcus saw me with Dylan at a cafe. She said they looked very close. Owen spoke for the first time. He said he had been trying to talk to Cressida about this for weeks. He said she kept dismissing his concerns. He said she kept calling him paranoid and controlling. He said he was neither. He was observant. My father asked who Dylan was. I said he was our neighbor. Imogen asked why I was bringing a neighbor to social events instead of my husband. I said Owen was invited. Owen said that was not true. He said I never invited him. He was right. I had not. I felt my face get hot. I said everyone was ganging up on me. Judith said no one was ganging up on me. She said they were asking reasonable questions. I said it was none of their business. She said it was absolutely their business when I was humiliating her son. Harper started crying. She said everyone was too loud. Robert picked her up and carried her outside. I stood up. I said I was not doing this. Imogen said I should sit down and face what I had done. I said I had not done anything. She said the photos said otherwise. I walked out. I heard Judith behind me saying she was sorry this happened at her birthday. I heard Owen say it was not her fault. I heard my father tell Harper everything would be okay. I drove home alone. The house was empty. I sat in the kitchen where this all started. I thought about Dylan stopping by the mailbox. I thought about how I smiled. I thought about how that smile had led to this. 2 hours later, Owen came home. He went straight to the garage. I followed him. He was packing boxes labeled with black marker, clothes, files, personal. I asked what he was doing. He said he was staying with Marcus for a while. I asked how long. He said he did not know. I asked if he was leaving me. He said he was giving himself space to think. I said this was an overreaction. He said it was a completely appropriate reaction. I said nothing happened with Dylan. He said he had evidence that said otherwise. I asked what evidence. He said I would find out soon enough. His phone rang. The caller ID said private. He stepped outside the garage to answer. I moved closer to the door. I heard him say, "Yes, I have the documentation you requested." I heard him say, "Thank you for your help." He came back inside. I demanded to know who he was talking to. He said it was none of my concern. I said everything he did was my concern. He said that stopped being true when I started lying to him. I asked when I lied. He said every single day. He loaded the boxes into his car. I stood in the driveway and watched. Harper was still with my father. Owen was leaving. Everything was falling apart, and it was my fault. But I still could not admit it. Owen got in his car. He looked at me through the windshield. His face was cold. I did not recognize him anymore. He drove away. I stood in the driveway alone. I went inside and called Tessa. I told her Owen moved out. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said she saw the photo. She said she should have said something at the bar. She said she needed some space to think about our friendship. She hung up. I called Imogen. She did not answer. I called my father. He answered. He said he was disappointed in me. I said everyone was disappointed in me. He said I earned it. He hung up too. I sat on the couch in the dark. I thought about how everyone had turned against me. I thought about how unfair it was. I did not think about what I had done. I just thought about how I was the victim. That was always my problem. I always made myself the victim. Wednesday I went to the supermarket. I needed groceries. Harper was at preschool. I was in the checkout line when someone said my name. I turned. It was my father. He looked tired. He looked older than I remembered. He asked if we could talk. I said I was busy. He said it would only take a minute. We stepped outside. He said he spoke with Owen. I felt my chest tighten. I asked what Owen told him. He said Owen gave him a very detailed account. I said Owen was making me sound worse than I was. He said he did not think that was possible. He asked if the photos were real. I said yes, but they were taken out of context. He asked what context made it appropriate for me to be seen with another man while married. I did not have an answer. He said he served his country for 20 years. He said he believed in honor. He said he believed in integrity. He said he raised his daughters to have both. He said I was disappointing him. I felt tears start. I said everyone was disappointed in me. He said I gave them reason to be. He asked if I understood what I was doing to Harper. I said Harper was fine. He said Harper asked him why Mommy and Daddy were fighting. He said Harper asked if it was her fault. I felt sick. I said I never wanted Harper to feel that way. He said then I should have thought about my choices. He walked to his car. I called after him. He did not turn around. I stood in the parking lot and cried. That night Owen came to pick up more things. Harper was with Judith. I was alone. Owen was on the balcony when I found him. He was looking at the street. I asked if there was any way to fix this. He said no. I asked if he remembered why he married me. He said he remembered marrying someone honest and kind. He said I was neither of those things anymore. I said people change. He said I destroyed us. I asked if he still loved me. He said he did not know. I asked if he would ever forgive me. He said forgiveness required remorse, and I had shown none. I said I was remorseful. He said I was still seeing Dylan. I said I was not. He said I was lying again. His phone buzzed. He looked at the notification. It said, appointment confirmed. Family law consultation, Tuesday 10:15 a.m. He dismissed it quickly. I asked what that was. He said it did not concern me yet. I asked when it would concern me. He said very soon. He told me to prepare myself. I asked for what? He said for the consequences. I said I already lost him. He said I would lose more than that. I asked what he meant. He said I would find out. He said he was handling everything through proper legal channels. I asked what that meant. He said it meant I should get a lawyer. I asked if he was serious. He said he had never been more serious. I asked if he was really going to destroy our family. He said I already did that. He was just making it official. He walked down the stairs. He got in his car. He drove away. I stood on the balcony alone. The street was dark. The house was empty. Everything I had was disappearing. And I still could not admit it was my fault. I went inside. I thought about the appointment. Family law consultation. I thought about what that meant. I thought about what was coming, and I was afraid. 2 weeks later, everything felt surreal. Owen had not come home. He saw Harper on his custody days. He barely spoke to me. I was living in limbo. The pickup line smelled of exhaust and warm asphalt. Harper's preschool sat squat and cheerful behind a chain-link fence painted primary blue, the kind of place that still had finger paint masterpieces taped to every window. I stood next to Dylan's idling SUV, the envelope burning against my ribs like a branding iron. The man in the grey suit had already melted back into the crowd, but the stares remained. Sharp, curious, merciless. Harper burst through the double doors in her purple unicorn shirt, pigtails bouncing like exclamation points. She spotted me and squealed, "Mommy!" the sound slicing straight through the hush that had fallen over the parents. Judith, Owen's mother, Harper's grandmother, was right behind her, hand firm on Harper's shoulder. Judith's eyes flicked to the envelope, then to Dylan's retreating taillights, then to me. No warmth, just assessment. "Harper, sweetie, Grandma's taking you to Daddy today," Judith said, voice syrupy for Harper's benefit, steel underneath. Harper's face crumpled. "But Mommy's here." I crouched, arms open. "Hi, baby. I love you so much." Judith stepped between us like a palace guard. "Court order, Cressida. You know the rules." The words hit harder than the envelope. I straightened slowly, papers rustling. "She's my daughter." "Right now she's under emergency orders," Judith replied. "Owen will pick her up at our house in 20 minutes. You can call the supervisor tomorrow to schedule your 2 hours." Harper's lip trembled. "Mommy?" I forced a smile that felt like glass. "It's okay, Peanut. Mommy's going to see you real soon. Be good for Grandma." Judith guided Harper toward a silver minivan. Harper kept twisting to wave, unicorn shirt flashing in the sun. I waved back until the van turned the corner and disappeared. The parking lot emptied fast after that. Engines revved, tires crunched gravel. Linda lingered by her SUV, arms crossed, watching me like I was a nature documentary titled "Bad Decisions in Their Natural Habitat." When our eyes met, she lifted her chin, vindicated, almost smug, and climbed into her car. I was the last one standing. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I fumbled it out with shaking fingers. "Owen, via attorney. Harper is safe with my mother. Do not attempt contact outside supervised visitation. All communication through counsel." Another buzz. "Tessa, I can't do this. You lied to my face for months. We're done." The screen blurred. I blinked hard, shoved the phone away. Dylan's SUV was long gone. My own car was still at the shop. Brake pads, the mechanic had said, like any of this was normal. I opened the rideshare app, requested a car. 8 minutes away. I sat on the curb, envelope in my lap, sun baking the back of my neck. The driver, a college kid with a man bun and zero interest in small talk, pulled up in a dented Civic. I slid into the back seat. The air smelled of pine tree freshener and fries. He glanced in the rear view. "Rough day?" he asked. I met his eyes in the mirror. "You have no idea." He shrugged and drove. We passed the park where Linda had snapped Exhibit A, me laughing on the picnic bench, Dylan's hand on my knee, Harper toddling toward the slide in the background. We passed the cafe where Marcus had caught us through the window, sunlight glinting off Dylan's wedding ring that wasn't mine. We passed the rooftop bar, whose neon sign still glowed in my memory like a crime scene photo. The driver turned onto my street. The mailbox loomed, white, cheerful, innocent. The place where Dylan had leaned against his truck that first afternoon, sunglasses pushed up, grin crooked. "Missed you, Cress." And I'd smiled back like a fool, in love with being wanted. I paid the driver, tipped too much, and stood in the driveway until the Civic disappeared. The house looked smaller somehow, like it had shrunk in shame. Inside, the silence was deafening. Harper's light-up sneakers sat by the door, one upright, one on its side, exactly where she'd kicked them off yesterday. Owen's coffee mug still in the sink, lipstick smudge on the rim from this morning's rushed goodbye kiss. My kiss. Before everything exploded, I dropped the envelope on the kitchen island. Papers spilled, the timeline Owen had built like a prosecutor. March 14th, 11:47 p.m. Dylan's truck and driveway, ring footage, April 2nd, 2:11 p.m. Cressida plus Dylan at cafe, Marcus photo, May 19th, 6:08 p.m. Park outing with Harper, Linda photo. Every entry stamped with precision. He'd been watching, not paranoid, methodical. While I'd been busy feeling alive, he'd been documenting survival. I opened the fridge. Harper's juice box with the bent straw sat front and center. I took it out, stabbed the foil with more force than necessary, and drank it in one go. Apple cherry. Her favorite. The sweetness made my stomach lurch. Upstairs, I stood in Harper's doorway. The nightlight spun lazy galaxies across the ceiling. Her stuffed narwhal, Mr. Splash, lay on the pillow, one eye missing from too many washing machine cycles. I picked it up, pressed it to my face. It smelled like her. Baby shampoo, playground dirt, safety. I carried Mr. Splash downstairs, sat on the couch, and opened my laptop. The screen glowed like judgment. First, attorney search. I found one with a calm voice in her video bio. High conflict custody? We've got you. I booked a consult for 8 a.m. tomorrow. Then therapy, infidelity recovery, parenting focus. 6 p.m. slot. I filled out both intake forms with brutal honesty. Have you ever lied to your spouse? Yes. Repeatedly. Have you exposed your child to an extramarital relationship? Yes. Unforgivably. Are you willing to submit to random drug testing, therapy, parenting classes? Yes. Whatever it takes. I hit submit before I could second guess. Next, banking app, joint account, frozen. My personal checking, $2,214.67. Credit limit, $300 left. I transferred $500 to a new savings account titled Harper Future. Set up $100 weekly auto deposits. It felt like trying to bail out the Titanic with a teacup. I opened Our Family Wizard, requested Owen as co-parent, message blank, sent. 3 dots appeared almost immediately. Owen. Harper asked why you weren't at pickup. I said you had a work emergency. She wants to know if you'll still do Friday pancakes. Supervisor approved, 9 a.m. Saturday. Library story room. I stared at the screen until it dimmed. I typed, buying pancake mix now. I'll be early Saturday. Thank you. I hit send, then added, the test will prove she's yours. I'll never ask you to doubt again. No reply. But the message showed red. I drove to the 24-hour grocery. The fluorescent lights felt surgical. I bought pancake mix, frozen blueberries, a new board book, Dragons Love Tacos, and a pack of rainbow hair ties. At self-checkout, I added a small stuffed narwhal to replace Mr. Splash's missing eye. The cashier didn't look up. Back home, I sat at the kitchen island and wrote on the narwhal's tag in Sharpie, for Harper, love, Mommy. See you Saturday. I taped the visitation schedule to the fridge. Sat, 9:11 a.m. Supervised Aurora Library. Wed 4 to 6 p.m. Supervised Aurora Park. I underlined, be early in red. I opened the envelope again, spread the exhibits like tarot cards. I took photos of each page with my phone, evidence of my own crimes. Then I started a new note. Accountability plan. Therapy 2X, week parenting class. Online, starts Monday. No contact with Dylan. Blocked, deleted, done. Save 15% every paycheck for Harper's therapy fund. Daily journal. 1 truth, 1 gratitude. I printed it, taped it above the coffee maker. At 2:17 a.m., I opened the camera app, pressed record. Hi, Harper Bear. It's Mommy. I made a huge mess and I'm cleaning it up. I love you bigger than the sky. Saturday, we're making blueberry pancakes with smiley faces, okay? I'll save you the first one. I stopped recording, saved it to a folder labeled for Harper, age 18. I set my alarm for 6:30. Curled on the couch with Mr. Splash under my arm. The house creaked around me like it was morning too. Sleep came in snatches. Harper's giggle, the squeal of Dylan's tires, Owen's quiet voice reading the emergency order aloud in my head. The alarm buzzed. I showered, dressed in the only unwrinkled outfit left. Grey slacks, white blouse, hair in a low knot. No makeup. I looked like a mom who was trying. At 7:55, I pulled into the attorney's lot. The lawyer, Ms. Chen, greeted me with coffee and zero judgment. "Tell me everything," she said. "Start with the first smile." I did. Every detail, every rationalization, every moment I could have stopped and didn't. When I finished, she nodded. "We don't deny, we own. You'll stipulate to supervised visits, propose a step-up plan, offer open phone access for Harper. We'll request both parents complete co-parenting classes, equity matters. The paternity test is Monday, results in 72 hours. When they confirm Owen's parentage, we petition for 50-50 legal custody with phased residential." I signed the retainer with a pen that didn't skip. At 8:45, I drove to the clinic to pre-register. The receptionist handed me a clipboard. I filled in Harper's name, birth date, Owen's name as alleged father. My pen hovered over relationship to child, then wrote mother in block letters. On the way out, I stopped at the park. The bench where Linda took the photo was empty. I left the new narwhal on it, rainbow hair ties looped around its horn, a note tucked inside. For Harper. "Mommy's practicing being the grown-up you need. See you Saturday." I walked away without looking back. Back home, the house still felt hollow, but the silence had edges now, sharp with purpose. I opened the co-parenting app. New message from Owen. "Harper says she wants extra blueberries. She lost another tooth. Tooth fairy rate still $5. I smiled. Small, cracked, but real. I typed, "Extra blueberries. I'll pay the tooth fairy $10 to cover interest. Thank you for protecting her heart." I hit send. 30 days until the hearing. One visit down. One pancake breakfast to earn. I whispered to the empty living room. I choose her. Every day. Starting now. And for the first time since the envelope hit my hands, I believed it. The house was too quiet. No Harper humming in her room. No Owen clinking dishes in the sink. No Dylan's laugh echoing from the porch where it never should have been. Just the low hum of the refrigerator and the tick of the wall clock, counting seconds I couldn't get back. I dropped the papers on the coffee table. They fanned out like evidence at a crime scene. Exhibit A, the selfie Dylan took of us at the park. Harper on the swings in the background, oblivious. Exhibit B, the text thread where I told Dylan, "Owen's asleep, come over." Exhibit C, the neighbor's ring camera still of his truck in my driveway at 1:14 a.m. Exhibit D, Tessa's statement. She told me Owen was controlling. I believed her. I was wrong. I walked to the kitchen, opened the fridge. Harper's half-finished yogurt sat on the middle shelf, the foil lid peeled back in her favorite crooked way. I closed the door without taking it. Upstairs, Harper's bedroom door was ajar. Her nightlight cast pink stars across the ceiling. The bed was made, Owen's doing. On the pillow lay Mr. Flops, the stuffed bunny she couldn't sleep without. I picked it up, pressed it to my face. It smelled like baby shampoo and betrayal. I carried Mr. Flops downstairs, sat on the couch again. My phone buzzed on the table. Unknown number. I answered. "Ms. Frost?" A woman, brisk. "This is Marlene from Family Bridges. I'm your visitation supervisor. First session is tomorrow, 10 a.m. at the library. Bring Harper's favorite book and a snack. No gifts over $10. No physical contact beyond a hug, hello and goodbye." "Tomorrow?" My voice cracked. "Court order says weekly supervised contact starts immediately. Owen requested the earlier slot." I swallowed. "I'll be there." "Be early. Tardiness counts against you." She hung up. I opened the banking app. Joint account. Frozen. My personal. 108.42. I transferred $200 to a new savings labeled Harper Therapy Fund. Set up $50 weekly auto deposit. It wasn't enough, but it was something. I opened the laptop on the ottoman. Searched family law attorney, emergency consult. Found one with a 4.9-star rating and a tagline, "Second chances start with truth." I booked 8 a.m. tomorrow. Then I booked a therapist for 6 p.m. Betrayal recovery, co-parenting focus. I opened a blank document. Title, Accountability Letter for Harper, age 18. Dear Harper, when you read this, you'll be old enough to understand why Mommy only saw you 4 hours a week for a while. I want you to know the truth, not the stories I told myself. I smiled at a man who wasn't your dad. I let that smile grow into secrets. I chose how I felt in the moment over how safe you felt forever. I was wrong. Every day, I'm learning to choose you now. Every day. Even when it hurts. I saved it, password protected. I stood, walked to the front door. The mailbox gleamed under the porch light, same spot where Dylan had leaned in and said, "I missed you." Same spot where I'd answered, "I missed you too." I opened it. Inside, a single envelope, no stamp. My name in Owen's handwriting. I carried it inside, slit it open with a butter knife. "Harper drew this for you. She asked if you're sick. I said you're getting help. She wants to know if you'll still braid her hair on Saturday." I said ask the supervisor. Inside was a crayon drawing. A stick figure family. Me, Owen, Harper, Mr. Flops. Harper had given me a huge smile and devil horns. Underneath, in purple, "Mommy come home?" I taped it to the fridge, right over the grocery list. I opened the co-parenting app, our family wizard, requested Owen, message blank, sent 3 dots. Then, library, 10 a.m. Bring Goodnight Gorilla. Harper picked it. I typed, "On my way to buy it now. Thank you." I grabbed my keys, drove to the 24-hour bookstore. The clerk didn't blink at my red eyes. I paid for the board book and a small pack of hair ties. Pink, Harper's favorite. Back home, I sat on the couch with Mr. Flops and Goodnight Gorilla. I practiced reading it aloud, voice steady. I practiced the hello hug. 2 seconds, no lingering. I practiced the goodbye wave. Smile, no tears. At 2 a.m., I opened the laptop again, started a second document, visitation plan proposal. Weekly 4-hour supervised visits, bi-weekly 6-hour, monthly overnight enroll in parenting after separation class, certificate attached. Random drug testing, voluntary. Therapy progress reports monthly. I attached my therapy intake form, saved as PDF. I set my alarm for 6:30 a.m., lay on the couch fully clothed, Mr. Flops under my arm. Sleep came in fragments. Harper's laugh, Owen's calm voice reading the order, the squeak of Dylan's truck leaving the driveway. The alarm buzzed. I showered, dressed in the only clean outfit left, jeans, white shirt, hair in a low bun. No makeup. I looked like a mum, not a defendant. At 7:55, I pulled into the attorney's lot. The lawyer, Ms. Patel, greeted me with coffee and a yellow pad. "Tell me everything," she said. "Start with the smile." I did. Every detail, every excuse, every moment I could have stopped. When I finished, she nodded. "We don't hide, we own. You'll stipulate to supervised visits, propose a step-up plan, offer open phone access for Harper. We'll request the judge order both parents to complete the co-parenting class. Fairness matters." I signed the retainer. At 9:40, I parked outside the library. Marlene waited by the children's room, clipboard, kind eyes, firm handshake. "Harper's inside with Owen. You'll have the story corner. I'll be 10 feet away. Timer starts when she sits." I nodded, clutching Goodnight Gorilla and the hair ties. Owen stepped out first. He looked exhausted, but his eyes were steady. He didn't speak, just moved aside. Harper ran to me, pigtails bouncing. "Mummy." I knelt, opened my arms. She crashed into them. 2-second hug. Perfect. She smelled like pancakes and crayons. I pulled back, smiled. "I brought your book." She grabbed my hand, led me to the corner. Owen watched from the doorway, arms crossed but not angry. Just, Waiting. Marlene started the timer. I opened the book. Harper leaned against me, Mr. Flops in her lap. I read about the gorilla stealing keys, the zookeeper's wife tucking everyone in. When I got to the last page, Harper whispered, "Mummy, will you come home after the gorilla goes to sleep?" I swallowed. "I'm working hard to earn that, sweet pea, every day." She nodded, solemn. "Daddy said you're learning to be a better chooser." I glanced at Owen. His mouth twitched, almost a smile. Timer beeped. Marlene approached. "Time." I hugged Harper goodbye, 2 seconds. She pressed a hair tie into my palm. "For your bun, so you look like Mummy." I slipped it on my wrist like a bracelet. Owen walked her out. At the door, he paused, met my eyes. "She asked for braids Saturday." Marlene approved 11 a.m., same place. I nodded. "I'll be early." He left. I sat in the story corner a minute longer, hair tie warm against my skin. Then I stood, gathered my things, and walked to the car. 30 days until the hearing. 1 visit down. I opened the co-parenting app. New message from Owen. "Harper says you read the gorilla voice perfect. She wants Dragon's Love tacos next." I smiled, small, real, and typed, "Buying it now." "Thank you for the chance." I started the car. The mailbox waited at home, but this time I didn't look at it. I looked forward. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next story. Write in the comments from which city you are watching.